Obama repeatedly challenged Congress to pass his jobs bill in a joint session of Congress. He called it I believe it was the Jobs Act, and we wanted to get reaction to it from our representative in Congress. Tim Griffin is with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, what did you think of the president's speech last night, both the substance and kind of the feisty tone of it?
Well, I think it was a political speech more than anything. I think we know he makes a great speech, and in terms of the substance of it, I certainly think that we ought to find any places where we agree and move forward immediately. On the job, he really talked about two things. He talked about the jobs plan, and then he talked about a plan with some bold reforms that he's going to propose in a week and a half. On the jobs plan, for the most part, the core looks a lot like the last stimulus. And I think he's going to have a tough time selling that to this Congress, because when I talk to job creators and individuals, they tell me they don't have a lot of confidence in the future, and they don't think we're on the right path, and so they're really holding on tight to their money instead of investing it and spending it and what have you. I don't think a short-term stimulus is going to change that. I think that we need fundamental reforms of the tax code. We need to lift the regulatory burden. We need to do more on getting our debt under control. We don't have to fix it overnight, but we've got to be on the right path. What I tell folks is we don't have to go from New York to L.A. immediately, but we have to know that we're heading in the right direction. That will give people confidence. And I'm hoping that even though the jobs plan doesn't have that in it, I'm hoping what the president talked about proposing in a week or so, week and a half, hopefully it will have some of that in it. He mentioned having some tax reform stuff in it. He mentioned making some reforms to Medicare so that it's there for the next generation, and dealing with our spending. So I think we got big problems, and we got to go big. If we're dealing with a little tweaking here and there, I think we're going to end up where we were with the last stimulus, deeper in debt and no better off in terms of the job creation. I'm going to look at the specifics. I'm hoping we can find some common ground, but stimulus, the sequel, is not the answer. How much of this bill do you think the president can get passed, and how much of this do you think is about politics gearing up for the election next year? Well, of the jobs part of it, the jobs package that he talked about, the stimulus, I think he's going to have a tough time getting that passed, because I don't think any of us believe it's going to create jobs. The private sector creates jobs, and all we've got to do in Congress is get the heck out of the way and create an environment where people have confidence and want to spend their money. But if you look at the stuff he talked about coming down the road a little bit in a week or so, I think we can find some common ground there. I think this is mostly politics. Time's running out for him to get the economy going, and I will tell you, we have passed a number of bills in the House that are sitting over in the Senate. The Senate has taken no action on them. If the president's tried his approach, I wish he would adopt some of our ideas. We are passing them all the time that deal with over-regulation, that we want to get these trade agreements done. We want to reform the tax code. A lot of our stuff is over in the Senate. The Senate, by the way, has not passed a budget in about 2 years. So they could just start by taking the budget we passed and adopting that. Not a shortage of ideas up here, just a shortage of political will. But I'm optimistic we can get something going. But it ain't going to be what he talked about last night.
Congressman, thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate visiting with you.
Thank you all.
Representative Tim Griffin. KARN News time is 7:19. We check traffic.